Hello, my name is Paul Beddings. This is the Photo Challenge. So last week I introduced the idea of a photo challenge I gave myself, which was to capture a series of images that told the story of a weekend of ice fishing. I also talked about the idea that as I was taking these photos, I was trying to figure out what the story was. And the idea of the search came to mind, where we're searching for good photos and searching for good light. And we're going to move into photos that I started to take more in the evening light because the sky sort of, the clouds came in and the sky started to get a bit gray. So I decided, to keep interest, I would start to focus on the coloring of the sky and the atmosphere and punch it up with a little bit of light from the snowmobiles. So we had used the light of the snowmobile to light up the spot where we're going to drill the hole into the ice. And I used that in this shot to light it up nicely and provide some color contrast. I really like the light of this shot. You can see in the background, there's, the sun is just going down, but you can also see in the far background that the sky is a little bit pink. So there is a bit of a sunset on the other side of those clouds back there. The light is really nicely balanced and the moon is actually directly above the subject matter. So the symmetry is nice. He's right in the middle of the image and so is the moon. I did move slightly over so that those things were aligned. And the snowmobile was coming across the ice, so the light added a nice element of color. Anyways, this shot I think works well. I would have liked to change some things around if I had a little bit of time, but this moment came and went pretty quickly. So I just took it and moved on. So the idea of the search came up really well here. We weren't catching anything. So this was the end of the weekend, the last night that we were going to be able to fish. So we were taking as much time as we could outside to try and get something. It didn't end up working, but you can see here that we're on the snowmobiles out into the middle of the ice, just trying to find a place to drill a hole and drop a line down. Again, this blue light is working really well. Here I don't just have the yellow light of the front light. We have the red of the rear light of the snowmobile. And also, instead of just straight snow, we also have some rocks coming up on the right hand side, and it starts to show a little bit of the landscape. In the summer, we would be in the water here. This is just a little island that's sticking up. So in this shot, he was looking for an ice fishing hole that we had drilled earlier in the day. Out on the middle of the lake during the day, it was quite windy. So all the holes we had drilled in the ice were now filled with ice and covered with snow. So there was one hole out here that we had potential success with. We weren't sure if we had gotten a bite or not. So we were out there trying to find where it was so we can drop our line in there for another couple minutes and see if we could catch anything. I've carried my camera across this lake many times with the plan to take amazing images, and often my camera doesn't come out of the bag because I've seen the landscape so many times that I'm not sure what to take photos of anymore. Sometimes my camera does come out of the bag, and I do capture images of northern lights and portraits of friends and impressive landscapes. But as I said in the previous video, I needed to set myself up with a goal. What I ended up capturing was the search. That I think was the story of the weekend. This includes the search for fish, for scenery, for good light and good photos. But on a deeper level, I think I captured the underlying search for adventure, for friendship and deep connections. The search for realness. This world is crazy, and I hope that everybody has a space that they can escape to and search for their own adventure. That search is illustrated best through these last few images I got here, with the snowmobile shining a light out into the blueness of the frozen lake, with the hills in the background and the snow peeking through the trees. The idea of the search really started to come to the surface. But shining a light out into the landscape starts to throw some shadows from the footprints and the snowmobile tracks on the snow. And as long as you get some detail in the shadows, that texture shows up in the dark areas as well. So as we were getting to the end of the night and we were cleaning up our lines, I started to shoot towards the light of the snowmobile. It was getting a little harsh. You can see that it's throwing some flares out into the sky over here, but I loved the long shadows that it was casting. Shooting directly into light here, the flares started gathering around the center of the photo. And here, out of all the sun flares that I've had throughout the day, I think these sun flares work the best. You know, they're packed up around the subject. I love the look of the long shadows here, and how you can see the tracks that we've made previously looking for places to fish. This spot, earlier in the day, we had our ice fishing hut located here, and I think just right here, you can see where the snow is melted where we were sitting inside. So I think this image closes off this series of photos quite well. I don't really have much to say about it. I just love the blue light. I like the yellow spotlight shining on the subject while he's looking. But in the end, I hope that you will continue to search. Thanks for watching part 2 of my photo challenge. I hope you enjoyed the search. Please like, share, and subscribe below. Check out some of my websites. And thanks for watching. Cheers.